As they exit the laboratory, they wait for Larry to come out too.
Sorry folks, I just had to stretch a little. Now, come on in. I don't bite.
Larry opens his doors and they all proceed to enter the vehicle. Cray and Emilia sit in the back and Leo sits in the front.
Cray, wouldn't it be much more convenient if you put that money in the trunk?
Sorry, I'm not letting go of this money, even if my life depends on it.
My god, do we look like criminals to you or something? Look, we won't take, or at least I won't. I can promise you that. Look, I'm just not gonna let it go, alright? Just leave me alone.
Oh, it is alright. I am simply giving advice. No need for such a rotting mood, young lad.
Alright, everyone, are we ready?
I suppose. Yeah, yes indeed.
Well then let's go. And remember, no talking too loud, kids.
Larry begins to accelerate out of the laboratory, and they drove into the street. Larry kept a slow pace as to not gain any building's attentions. As he drove closer and closer towards the center of Benmara City, there started to appear more buildings with red eyes. They moved around in unique ways. They were all different, just like people. Cray looked at his right to look at Emilia, who was looking down. She seemed to be quite distressed, but quiet. Cray couldn't say that he also wasn't in distress. However, unlike Emilia, Cray had nothing to lose, only things to gain. Cray also noticed that the windows were very dark, which made it hard to see what was outside. However, everyone in the car knew that Larry was doing this so that no building would know that they were in the vehicle. As Cray looked around, he ended up overhearing a conversation between two buildings who were talking to one another.
Oh god, what will we do if Ben can't find the boy? Oh, and what if the boy happens to be a big bully? Oh god, what if he's a criminal, a killer? What if he doesn't like games?
I'm sure Ben will find him. That or some other building will find him. Honestly, now that I think about it, this would be a perfect chance for that Mr. Housendale to impress Ben. I mean, you know how obsessed he is with that.
After Larry drove a little too far, Cray could no longer hear their conversation. They soon enough make it to the center of the city and end up seeing the Empire Fregile building. Most of the buildings seem to be asleep, which grants Larry a perfect opportunity to park next to Fregile.
Alright, you two. Do you remember what I needed the both of you to do?
You want us to sneak in and go get that little mirror for you, right?
Precisely. I need it badly, and so do you. Now this needs to be done very quickly. All you have to do is sneak through the window. Don't worry about them being locked, because they never are. You two ready?
Both Cray and Emilia say yes, and they walk out of Larry and begin to sneak into Fregile through the window. As Cray looks back, Leo makes a thumbs up as to clarify that they are doing good. Cray opens the window and jumps in. After that, Emilia does the same, and they both find themselves in a large bedroom, which has a lady sleeping in it. Both Cray and Emilia look at each other. Emilia points at the door, letting Cray know that they should check the other rooms before this one, just for safety. Cray carefully opens the door as Emilia follows. Then he closes it.
Thank God. Looks like now we can have a chance to look around and search for the area. I'll look around the second floor, and how about you look around this first floor?
Right, will do. Cray heads towards the hallway and into what seems to be the foyer. He takes a peek outside the front window and notices a big house dashing towards the Fregile building. Cray hides under a table so that the other building does not see him.
Wakey, wakey!
Oh, goodness. What time is it?
It is time to open your eyes to the one and only Mr. Housendale. Do you know what I'm excited about?
It's not happening. I'm pretty sure whenever we do find the boy, he won't open up to you. At least not with an attitude like that. And can you please keep it down? Grace is trying to sleep.
But how can she be sleeping in a time like this, where she might soon be replaced?
She will not be replaced, my goodness. She is part of our family.
Couldn't agree more, which is why whenever I find this new someone, he will most definitely want to live within me. Because I'm special, and so is he. We're perfect together.
You haven't even met him. Goodness, Mr. Housendale, please don't cause trouble like usual.
Oh, come on. I've been good, haven't I?
Well, you've certainly improved. Let's hope you can keep that streak up.
Cray, still being under the table, is unsure of what to do. Since the R house won't stop talking to the building that he is in, Cray feels sort of stuck. Because if he moved, he might be spotted by that Mr. Housendale. However, right as Cray thought that, Emilia comes running down the stairs. Cray dashes out of his hiding spot, grabs Emilia's arm, and bashes the door to the closet open. After that, he closes it.
Why did you run downstairs? They could have heard you.
Because that lady woke up and saw me. I don't know where she is now, but I had to run for it.
Right as she said that, Cray looks through the peephole and sees Grace hastily going downstairs.
Fregile,
Yes, Grace? Did you have a nice sleep?
no time for that. I saw someone. They ran down here.
Wait, he's here? Oh my god, Fregile, open your mouth, or I mean your doors!
No, Mr. Housendale, I will not. And oh goodness, I will see if I can sense him in me. Allow me to see if I feel anything different.
Cray looks at Emilia and tells her not to move. After a bit of staying still, Emilia notices on one of the shelves in the wardrobe a little mirror is sitting there. Emilia whispers to Cray to go and get it. But before he could do that, Grace opens the wardrobe, revealing Cray and Emilia. Cray thinks fast and punches Grace, then dashes to the entrance door in the foyer. It slams shut and Emilia and Cray are trapped.
We've got you now. Oh, Grace, darling, are you all right?
Cray, what are we going to do?
Cray looks at the ceiling and notices the fire hydrants. And so Cray realizes what he needs to do. He takes his lighter and uses it to activate the fire hydrant, causing Fregile to shriek in pain, which makes his doors open. Cray and Emilia run out and scream for Larry. Larry drives quickly in and opens his doors. They get inside Larry.
All right, now drive.
Now where do you think you're going?
Larry drives as quick as he can while Mr. Housendale glides towards him with immense speeds. Larry sees a bridge and notices that Mr. Housendale is getting way too close. So Larry decides to drive off the bridge, landing in the oil lake. While Larry is slowly sinking, both Leo, Cray, and Emilia have just enough time to jump to shore and into the sewers.
Will you make it back, Larry? I don't know, but you know what you promised me, so please. I will pay you in due time. Damn you! Just go!
Leo runs towards Cray and Emilia, who are waiting in the sewers for him. After he reaches the others, they all run deeper into the sewer. Once they go deep enough, all of them decide to sit down and take a breather. Emilia falls to the ground, shaking. Cray slides on the wall down to his knees, and Leo falls down on his knees on the floor.
Fear not, we are somewhat safe down here. As long as those things don't show up, we should be fine.
Oh, please don't tell me there's more to worry about.
No, don't worry about it. They usually take quite some time to arrive down here. Trust me, I'd know. Now, do you two have the mirror?
No, we don't.
Are you telling me you couldn't find it?
Oh, no, we found it. We just didn't have time to grab it.
Ridiculous. Fine. But have fun down here.
We don't want to be stuck in a bloody sewer.
Nor do I, but here we are. We'll have to walk back to the lab, and it's a long walk.
And that's a problem for you?
Leo looks at Cray with disgust after saying that.
No, of course not.
Well, then, let's go.
No, wait, I can't. Can we not just sit down for a little bit?
I mean, of course we can wait a little longer.
Sure.
Great, if you want to go now, then that's fine.
No, you're right. Let's wait here for a little while.
Excellent, then it's decided.
Right after that, Cray decided to sit down yet again. This time, he decided to look around the sewer he was in, and nothing was out of the ordinary, except for the liquid within it. Instead of water, it was a purple liquid. It also smelled like blood, though Cray could not see any corpse nearby, so this confused him. Emilia was just looking around a little every now and then, but for the most part, she kept her eyes closed.
Hey, how's that energy holding up for you?
Haven't slept for at least 24 hours, so not good. Sorry, I don't want to be a brag.
It's fine. You need rest. You need it more than any of us anyways.
After Cray and Emilia talk, Leo goes into the purple liquid and starts to drink it. He seems to be overjoyed whenever he takes a sip out of it, which puts Cray and Emilia on edge. After Leo had his first sip, he looks at Cray and Emilia.
Well, should we go now?
Sure.
Sounds good. That's the spirit.
They both decide to follow Leo as Leo starts to walk further into the sewers, taking specific turns. After a long walk, Leo finally stops by a ladder and then turns towards Cray.
Well, is this your lab?
Of course. Cray, why don't you go first?
Cray decides to start climbing the stairs and pushes away the manhole. He peeks through the manhole and sees that it's an empty road with nobody in sight.
Alright, it's safe.
Right as Cray says that, Leo pushes Cray out of the manhole and locks him out.
Hey! Let me in, Leo! This better be some kind of sick joke! Good luck, I locked you out. Probably for the best.
Leo walks down the ladder with a proud grin. Right as he reaches the floor, Emilia goes at him to punch him. He falls down and just laughs.
What the hell was that for? Don't worry, Cray, I'm coming up to open the manhole.
But before Emilia could do anything, Leo gets back up and pushes her off the ladder with immense force, causing Emilia to fall down and hit her head on the brick walls, causing her to fall unconscious. Leo starts to carry her on his shoulders and looks up at the manhole.
Good luck, you poor bastard. I have your money. You know, the money that you decided to leave down here before going up the ladder? Yeah, that money.
Smiling at what he's done, he begins walking even further down the sewers, leaving Cray behind. Cray looks around, unsure of what to do. He is now lost in the middle of the street, and he knows what will happen to him if he is found. He gave it a little thought. Grace didn't seem to have it so bad. Sure, she did look tired beyond repair, but other than that, the buildings were treating her with respect. Cray gave it a second thought and decided that it was just a facade. Cray shouldn't trust anyone. After thinking a little, he decides that finding some park could help him hide better. And so, he decides to find a park. And to his luck, he actually does end up finding one. He sees a bench, and next to the bench is a big dumpster. This park was also next to a cliff, and when looking under the cliff, saw a big amusement park. He looked at it and decided that he would go there next, but before that, he decided to get some rest. So he entered the big dumpster, staying hidden. He put on his lighter as a light source. There was luckily no garbage in the dumpster, and it was funny to Cray. Why would these titans need dumpsters for people? He hadn't met any smaller living objects. He starts to think about where he is in life. He gets memories of his family, and how his mother left both him and his father when he was 8. And how his father keeps repeating the words, "If you can't support yourself, then why should I support you? You need to get a job, Cray. This is getting ridiculous. You're 18, you need to grow up." Cray decided that sitting still was not an option, and he needed to move to keep his mind off of things. So he took his lighter and started to go out of the dumpster. He looks at the amusement park with a confident smile. After that, he looks at his left and he sees Mr. Housendale looking down at him with the biggest smile Cray had ever seen. They look at each other for 10 seconds. 10 seconds of pure silence. After this, Cray dashes towards the edge of the cliff, then jumps down, causing him to get hit by branches and rocks. Once he hits the floor, he is badly hurt, however, is still well enough to keep running. He looks up at Mr. Housendale, who is about to also jump down, however, he tries to be more careful than Cray, which gives Cray a perfect chance to run even further away from Mr. Housendale. Cray reaches the amusement park and looks around in a panic. He ends up seeing a merry-go-round, and this gives Cray an idea. Cray looks behind him to see how close Mr. Housendale is, and he sees that Mr. Housendale is catching up. So Cray jumps onto the merry-go-round, and waits for Mr. Housendale to reach the merry-go-round. He does, and ends up picking up the merry-go-round. While he does this, Cray jumps to the control panel for the ride and turns its speed into maximum capacity, causing Mr. Housendale to drop it while it turns in great speeds. It hits Mr. Housendale's face, ripping pieces off, and the mouth Mr. Housendale had open now completely cut off by the falling merry-go-round. Cray dashes out of the control panel and sees a roller coaster. He quickly runs towards the roller coaster. Once he reaches the roller coaster, he turns it on and jumps on before it can take off without him. He looks at Mr. Housendale, still screaming in pain and rage. Mr. Housendale sees Cray on the roller coaster and instantly rushes towards him. But before Mr. Housendale can reach him, the carts go into a cave, and just before the carts can get out of the cave again, Cray jumps off the cart and falls onto a plastic pair of rocks. This damages Cray a little, however he is still able to stand, even though he struggles to do so. As he gets back up, he hears Mr. Housendale screaming outside the cave.
Man, where did you go? Don't you realize how much you hurt my feelings? Come on, I don't bite. I even prepared a special room inside me just for you. That didn't come out right. Listen, I'm sorry. Ugh.
Cray decides to take the exit door, which is right next to him. He exits the roller coaster from the back, which also serves as a secondary exit from the amusement park. Cray looks around and sees bushes and trees with one path. Cray decides to follow the path, and it seems as if the path goes into the forest. So Cray decides to follow the pathway into the forest. At first, all seems normal while looking around. However, Cray finds a tiny lake, and it is not water. Instead, it is filled with oil. It would seem as if this realm seems to not have water, and Cray was starting to get rather thirsty. He sees a small lodge in the distance and decides to take a closer look. And from what he could tell, it wasn't alive. So Cray invites himself in. He opens the door and is greeted by a lot of old furniture. It looked as if a fisherman had worked here because it was filled with fishing gear.
Why, hello there! Feel free to come in. I don't mind. I hope you feel safe. I won't hurt you. My name is Taylor Hall.
It was a grandfather clock talking to Cray. Cray wasn't even shocked anymore. He went closer to the grandfather clock and put out his lighter, holding it on the grandfather clock and threatening it.
Listen, if you don't tell me how to leave this realm, then you'll become charcoal. How do I get out of here?